So how do we turn a simple sound like this into something magical like this? Now, usually what we want Melodyne to do is to detect the exact notes that we sing, but if we throw a simple pad sound into Melodyne using the polyphonic algorithm, something like this, we can actually do a neat little trick inside of note assignment mode where we reveal all of those hidden harmonics that it detected. So if we go up to the top here and click this wrench, now we get to see all of the silhouettes of some of those other harmonics that it's detected. And we can increase the sensitivity for the way that the blobs show up for us to move around and manipulate by increasing this potential note slider. So if I just move this up, you'll start to see all of these orange blobs appear. And you can kind of think of these like splotches of paint that you can then move around and stretch and kind of add color to your sound and interest. And we can even go through and double click some of these manually to add them to sort of our palette here. Now what this is doing is it's kind of giving us the raw materials inside of edit mode to move things around and start messing around with those harmonics to add different textures. So if we go back to the top and we go to the edit mode, now what I can do is I can select something like the time tool here, and I can just go to the edge of the blob here, right where it kind of looks like a fast forward rewind sign. And I can stretch things out like this and start to manipulate some of these harmonics. And you'll notice too that the configuration, even though we kind of randomly did it, the configuration of the different blobs gives us some ideas for different rhythms and different ways that we can stretch out the sound. So if I just stretch some of these out, you'll notice that this doesn't sound too different from the original because we haven't made too many drastic changes to the harmonics. But now if we open up the pitch tool here and we just start moving things around, maybe a nice thing for us to do is to actually snap it to our chord scale here. So if I change this to, let's say this is B flat major. One thing I'll do too to make things easier to hear is I'm just going to go up to the top and select our amplitude tool and highlight our original notes, and then we can just bring these down by about 6 decibels to make all of our changes easier to hear. Another helpful thing is if you go up to the top right to this cog here and just make sure that monitor when editing blobs is on. That way when we are selecting a note, we can hear exactly which note it is that we're changing. And so this right here is the fun part. This is where we can start moving around our blueprint rhythm here to different melodies and just get inspired by whatever it is that's on here, right? Important to remember too that we can copy and paste these notes around as well. So if I want to copy this one, I press Command C and I go up to the top and I select exactly where I want it pasted and I click inside of Melodyne so it deselects the note that we just had and I press Command V. It will select it and we can move this around too. And of course, the beauty with Melodyne too is that we can move around the notes that were actually in the original pad as well. So if I wanted to change these bass notes, another great thing is that you can actually stretch all these notes out at the exact same time, so you don't have to do them individually. So if you kind of just wanted all of these to be longer, you can just sort of stretch them all out like this. Another nice way we can process all of these at the same time is to add a quick fade here. So if I just go to the amplitude tool and I hold it down, you can access the fade tool right here. And let's add in a fade to all of these, and we can kind of add a fade out as well on the other side. So it kind of, flows really smoothly, right? So just going through the flow of that creative process and moving notes around and stretching them out and fading them, you might end up with something that sounds a bit like this. It almost takes on the character of like, you know, some synth strings. I love it. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we could spice up a sound like this, but one of my favorites is to head up to the top here and open up the sound editor with this harmonic bar icon here. And what we can do is mess around with the harmonic balance, and it really makes a big difference to how it sounds in the end here. So let's do that. And don't forget about these awesome sliders that can do so much at the same time for you. So check this out. Maybe we want to adjust just the odd or even harmonics. Or maybe make it a little less brilliant, more soft. And of course, if we want to save this masterpiece that we've made with all these harmonics inside of Melodyne and maybe put it into a new synth sound just for layering or whatever else, what we could do is go up to the top and go to Settings. We'll go to Save as MIDI. That will open up a box where you can save it somewhere on your computer. And if you find that file and drag it right into your DAW, I happen to have the original drone sound synth that I used. So let's take a listen to what our MIDI notes sound like inside of the original synth. And that's a great way to use this whole system as well, just to inspire new melodies and harmonies. So even though most of the time it seems like we're stuck with audio once it's been printed, it's kind of just the beginning with Melodyne, isn't it? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.